What's going on, my dudes? Chen's Leo11 here, and welcome back to another episode in the A to Z series. Today we are playing the cigar-sucking madman with a shotgun. We're playing Graves Jungle. So we are going to be showing you how to play Graves Jungle for beginners. So this will be a bit of a Graves guide. We're going to be going through the runes, the abilities, most importantly, and then the build at the current state in the meta. So just to start off with, we're doing a bit of a cheeky invade here. Team decided to do an invade just to see what we can get, but we'll be going through the clear as well. We're going to be starting on the blue side when we get around to it, and doing a full clear into Scuttle Crab, and then trying to scale up as hard as we can, because at the end of the day, Graves is kind of like a carry out of the jungle. He's an AD carry essentially. So let's see what we can do here. So we get jump over the wall there with our E, which we'll go through in a moment, and we just miss out on the Twitch, I think, from memory. But we did get his flash, so overall good start. We're going to be a little bit late to our blue buff, but that's fine. So we'll quickly go over the runes. So basically we go Phase Rush, we go Nimbus Cloak, and Nimbus Cloak is really important with the Smite. Once we unlock it to upgrade it to Challenging Smite, that becomes actually really, really useful. And also if you're trying to get away or catch up to someone, the Flash. So if you don't know, Nimbus Cloak gives you movement speed after you use a Summoner spell, Absolute Focus, we go Water Walking, and then we got Precision Secondary Tree with Triumph and Legend Alacrity. So we're starting off here with a nice leash from the Teemo on the blue buff, who's taken a few shots for us, so it's very, very kind. But, yes, blue buff, Gromp, Wolves, Chickens, Red. Depending on how fast you're clearing, you can do the rocks, what are they called? Krugs, and then move into the Scuttle Crab. So yeah, you want to be starting your E first. The reason you start E is for the passive portion of the E, which we'll go through in a moment. Just remember that. It's called the Grit passive, and it basically gives you armor. But that's why you start E, and then you go Q secondary, or level 2 rather, and then just max your Q when you can, and then take a point into your W at level 4, I guess. You can go Q level 3 for a second point to speed up your clear a bit. But that's about it. That's the clear, guys. And then quickly run through the items. We're going to be going Gale Force into Berserker Greaves into the Collector, and then the fourth slot you can go either Infinity Edge or Bloodthirst. I don't think this game goes that deep into the build. So when you're clearing the jungle, you want to make sure that you're trying to hit as many of the jungle camps as you can with Graves passive, which is the first ability we're going to go through as we clear the chickens, which is called New Dynasty. So basically, Graves has a very, very unique auto attack. So he shoots out like a bunch of shells, or like he spreads his auto attack out, and the auto attack hits whatever the first enemy is in front of him, right? So if I target something behind, let's say someone behind the red buff at this point, our bullets are just going to hit the red buff. So it makes it a little bit tricky to perfectly attack someone that you're aiming for, or like if they're behind the target you want. So you kind of just have to hit what's in front of you, which is essentially what you normally want to do when you're playing AD carry anyway. So remember, Graves is kind of like an AD carry. So at this point, as I fail the E over the wall, it's about 3:30, so a little bit late to the Scuttle Crab, because Scuttle Crab spawns at 3:15. So we're going to skip the Krugs and go straight to the Scuttle to secure it, because it's more important. We can just go grab the Krugs later on. So as we clear that, we're going to finish explaining the passive. So you can see the shots going off. So the first shot that hits does the normal amount of auto attack damage, and then every subsequent pellet does a third of the normal damage up to a certain point. I think it's depending on your level it scales. So right here is a little bit of, not really a gank, I'm just kind of running through mid lane to see if the Kindred I think we're up against this game has taken the other Scuttle Crab. So she has, so we don't go try and contest it. Sometimes if you clear really, really quickly and they're not on the ball, you can try and double scuttle, and if you do, it's basically GG. The early game's GG. Another thing with the passive is once you get crit, which is going to be important for this build because we are going Gale Force, your bullets no longer spread 4 pellets, they spread 6. I don't know if I mentioned it's 4. So it spreads 6 and it's a wider cone, and again, each pellet does some more damage. One last thing with the passive or his auto attack, so this is all basically centering around his auto attack, is the if you hit more than 1 pellet on a non-champion, they are knocked back. So let's see the Gromp. See how it's getting knocked back? So this is really, really important for clearing, because it allows you pretty much to never get hit by a buff. So we're going to watch this 1v1 with Kindred. I remember what happens here. We unfortunately, we flop it pretty hard. Kindred gets lost into the bush. Betrayed flashes, she gets me. So I should have definitely smited the Gromp there. It would have given me a bit more health and I could have got away. But that's okay. The early game is a little bit scuffed at this point, but that's fine. She's obviously read that the recall, we're going to go recall back to our blue side. So that's obviously the downside of going straight through mid. She got vision of me and then saw me in our jungle with the scrying orb later on because she knew where I would be. So a bit of a mistake, but that's fine. We'll recover. So what I like to do personally on Graves is to just farm the shit out of the early game. And I know it's not an exciting style of play, but if you farm really, really well, you will just basically secure yourself having some sort of relevant power in the mid game, and definitely the late game. So you'll notice you'll feel that pickup, especially after you get a few items. Right now in the meta, Graves isn't very strong, so it makes this hard to explain how to scale super hard because he's pretty weak at the moment. But he is pretty fun, and when I say that, he's very simple to play. Like his abilities aren't complex or anything like that. He's very unique, obviously, with his auto attack. He's just a very hard carry jungler if you like that sort of playstyle. Farm up, try and get your resources, get your items, and then carry. He is, of course, as I said before, an 80 carry, so he needs items, he needs gold. So he's a little bit unique because jungle isn't the most gold grabbing role. So you need to be farming extremely well on Graves to be able to do anything. And one of the most important things, especially with level and farm, is to grab the Scuttle Crab. So that's what we're doing here. So that's New Dynasty. That's his passive. We've been through it. So we're going to start now explaining the Q, which is very, very simple. It's called End of the Line. Graves fires a shot. I think I should use it here. No, I don't use it here. He fires a shot in a straight line, leaving like a trail of like gunpowder, I guess, and then it lights up and comes back to him, dealing damage. There it is there. And see how the burn and the return damage goes the original way you shot the Q. So remember that when you're clearing the jungle camps, I think it was the chickens or the wolves earlier, I shot the Q and then kited to the right and then it missed. So just keep an eye on that. But yeah, basically that's all the Q does. It also, on the return, it does more damage. And it also, like it'll start retracting back as soon as it hits terrain. So not just an enemy. So just keep that in mind, especially with your first couple clears. If you're not sure how to, the feeling of clearing, have a couple clears in the practice tool would help you out a lot. Because if you shoot it into a wall, it'll just hit the wall and come straight back to you, not do any damage. So we can have a quick mention of the game. So top's pushed up, so we can't really gank there. Mid's missing, so we can't really gank there. So we're going to continue to farm. There's our smite upgrade. So now we have the challenging smite, which allows us to 1v1 really, really hard, which is really good. And we're just going to keep up our farm. We should definitely start going to collapse on the scrap that's going on in the bot lane. And we're going to start heading towards there. See if we can take this cone over the top and start mopping. No, we can't. The Twitch looks like this is finished. So what I'm thinking here is everyone's dead or not around, so I'm going to quickly sneak this dragon. So we're going to start this dragon up. We noticed the Kindred as well. So we call for the team's help. We use the Q there. We use our W to give us some time. So we get chunked out pretty hard, but it allows our team to come up and clean it up. I think we're going to get the Kindred, and I snag it with my ultimate, which is excellent. So a good amount of gold for us. A little bit of a risky play. Didn't have sight on the Kindred, but it worked out okay. And we're going to get the dragon as well, which is awesome. I don't have smite available, so Alistair's going to sneak it off us. No, he won't. So we're going to just E over the wall, which is another thing you can do with the E when we go through it. Just keep that in mind. You can use it to get over terrain, which is super good. So that's the Q, guys. Very, very simple. Straight line skill shot. It goes out, comes back, does more damage on the way back. So the W is called Smoke Screen. It's a really, really unique ability. Basically, you fire a smoke canister in a target location, and it creates a smoke thing on the ground. Let's see if I use it here in this little scrap here. So there's the smoke canister I put on Twitch. See how it's set above his head nearsighted and Alistair's nearsighted? They basically have no vision outside of that circle. So that is extremely disruptive for the enemy. So we pick up a double kill for our team there. That's super underrated, and when the canister hits, it also causes slow. It also does a bit of damage when it hits as well. Scales with magic damage. That's not relevant in this build. However, that nearsighted is basically the beans of the ability. It's the beans of the ability, the meat of the ability, the best part of the ability. So that's why it's a 1-point wonder. And what that means is you put 1 point into it early, and then you level it up last. It doesn't really need. You don't really need damage or. That's all that gets stronger. I think the slow maybe goes up. No, it doesn't. Just the cost goes up and the cooldown comes down. A bit more damage, but most important is that nearsightedness. And the slow is very important as well. It's just basically your only form of CC when you play Graves. So you want to be using that when you gank as well. If you can try and hit that at the start of the gank, that's awesome. That'll slow them down, allow your laner to catch them if they have CC. So we have a look at bot lane. The Leona and Misfortune doing work there, carrying us. So our farm is not the greatest because there's been a bit of scrapping. We did get an early jungle, but we're going to pick that up. And we do have 3 assists, 1 kill, and we did die to that Kindred early. But so far, it's been a pretty clean game. Our team's doing very, very well. When you're playing a champion like Graves that likes to scale, it's good to see your team doing even is fine. If they start giga-inting and feeding, then it's kind of doomed. You kind of have to really carry hard and start getting a lot of kills and returning the game back to your team. But if not, you can kind of chill in the early game and ramp up. So right there, we're waiting for the Nico to hit the stun. She didn't quite get it. That's a good Kindred ult there. So we're trying to focus down the Kindred. Our teammate picks it up, but we're going to die to the ignite from the Silas there. It's a little bit unfortunate, but we do get another couple of assists. Unfortunately, we're not getting the kills, but that's fine. So we are going to be heading towards our Gale Force. And we should have that item soon. Then we're going to start popping off. So that's the W, guys. Very, very simple. Now we're going to go through the E, which is called Quick Draw, which is the first ability you start with, as I said. Basically, all it is you dash to a target location. You would have seen me using it a lot. It's like a little short dash. And while you're dashing, it resets your auto attack timer and it shoves another bullet into the chamber, which I forgot to mention at the start. So when you're, obviously you can see under your health bar, there's 2 bullets. Once you have no more bullets, you have to reload, which is an important part of his kit. And once you get attack speed, you will reload faster. So that's basically that. So the E basically, I'll show it here. See, I've got no more bullets left. Let's see if I use an E here. So 1 bullet left, we E back and we get an extra bullet. That's the purpose of the E. It's to restock your bullets. It's a good movement ability as well, reposition tool. And it has a very important passive, which is called Grit. Now, the Grit passive basically gives you armor. So just above my Q ability, you can see that 2 stacking up. See that 2 there? And as I used my E, it went to 3. So that's called your Grit passive, or your stacks of Grit. So the higher number that is, the more bonus armor you have. So basically it ticks down, and once it hits to 0, you lose your stacks. So in the first clear, it's important as you're transitioning from wolves to chickens, there's a point in which you can hit your E to basically get you another stack, and then it restarts the timer. So that way, when you get to the chickens, you start auto-attacking, which resets the timer. Every time you auto-attack, you have full Grit, and you can clear a bit healthier. So in the jungle, it's not super important to keep the Grit up. It's obviously ideal. It'll just give you more armor, so you stay healthier through the jungle. But yeah, that's the Grit passive. So every time you auto-attack, you can see the timer at the bottom there resetting, going back up. And then every time we E, it ticks up 1. Now, another important thing with the Grit is if you use your Quick Draw or your E's dash towards an enemy, you get 2 stacks of Grit. So that's another thing to keep in mind. So let's see if I can show a good example of it here. As we're clearing the Krugs there. So that's fine. So we can clear in the Krugs here. And we're just making sure we're powering through the jungle as best we can. We've got the dragon that is up. So we're going to look to try and take that as well. And have a look at bot lane if there's any potential gank. Obviously our Leona's back in base, so there's nothing really going on there. We're going to just scout the river, see if we can see anything. No wards, so we know we could take the dragon relatively safe with mid prio, and Leona's probably going to come back, and we know that MF has got the triple kill earlier, so she's probably can control that lane. So again, we're just going to take the red buff. But that's basically the Quick Draw, the E. The Grit passive, along with your you can buy attack speed boots, the Berserker Greaves, or steel caps, and you can have a crap load of armor against the full AD team, and they're going to struggle hard to get you. So we're going to go for this gank here. They were a bit overextended. Alistair does well to knock us up. Another assist for us. That's okay. MF's getting all the gold. She can do the carrying this game. That's fine. Take out that ward. And looks like now we can go do the dragon. And that's what we're doing. So we got caught by some vision from the Kindred again, but that's okay. We can smoke screen her so she loses vision. So you can see the smoke screen leaves that canister on the ground. So every time they enter that circle, they don't get vision in it. So I'm just going to focus this dragon down before entering the fight. The Kindred has her immunity anyway. Our Nico was able to secure that. We got up to 7 assists. We're the assist king this game. We're going to go see what we can take out of the enemy jungle. So we use our ultimate, and then Alistair perfectly knocks me over the wall. That's actually really good from the Alistair. And that was what I used there against the Twitch, was my ultimate ability, which is called Collateral Damage. So Collateral Damage, it's a really, really cool ability. It does a shitload of damage. Basically, you fire off like a mega shot in a straight line, and it goes, and it hits the target and does a crap load of physical damage, obviously. And then once it hits, it explodes into a cone behind the initial shot. And that cone does 80% less damage than the initial shot, but it still does a shitload of damage. Obviously, it scales with AD, so it can do a crap load of damage. It also knocks you back, so you need to be aware of that. Sometimes if you're trying to chase an opponent, it might not be the correct move to use your ultimate, because you might like put yourself further away, and that might be that's obviously a bad idea. But yeah, keep that in mind. It just does a shitload of damage. So we're going to be back to clearing the jungle here, keeping that farm up. So right now we're sitting at a nice CS per minute for the jungle, which is actually really good. That's a good example of kiting your Q away from the camps, which is bad that way, because otherwise the main part of the Q's damage doesn't hit. So we're going to try and help out this bot lane who's getting Leona, who's getting ganked from the Kindred. We're going to E in, and then the Twitch is there too. We get knocked out. We're going to flash. Silas takes our ultimate, so you can see he's going to use it there. So there it was there. See, shots have just landed next to the tower and sprayed behind us to do damage, but we dodged it, so that's okay. A little bit of a scary gank there. We ended up saving the Leona, but nearly dying. Cost us our flash. Going to go Q, E. So that's another thing with auto attack. If they get out of range, so Silas dashed away, the auto attack doesn't land, even though you shot it off. So like they're out of range of the pellets, so the pellets don't hit and do damage. So that's another unique thing with Graves you need to get used to. But that's about it, guys. That's all his abilities. With the ultimate, just one last thing. If the initial target gets hit by the first part of the ultimate and then the cone as well, they don't take double damage or anything like that. It's just they take the initial hit and that's it. So right now we can focus more on the game. So the Alistair's kind of in behind us, but we can just focus him down and do a shitload of damage. He has to flash away. And we use our ultimate there to just do some damage. But this is what I mean. When you use your ultimate too early like that, we did a lot of damage, yes, but we ended up getting ourselves too far away so we couldn't finish off. That's okay. We're going to push it in. We're going to look elsewhere. Looks like Timo and Nico are doing the Rift Herald, which is excellent. So I can get a nice reset on a control wall, which is the best reset because no one can see where I am. No one's seeing that I'm backing. So that's basically all of Graves' abilities, guys. Pretty simple champion. Very unique. So we got our Gale Force, which adds a little bit more complexity to him. Now we have a second dash or flash, if you like to call it, that does damage. So Gale Force works really, really well with Graves and sticking onto the target. So basically when you're playing Graves, although he's ranged, you need to kind of be in almost melee range to do the damage, right? So that's why you're taking Phase Rush and Nimbus Cloak and all that, so you can stay on top of people. And that, Gale Force, does a really, really good job of sticking to your targets. And it does a nice handy amount of damage as well. So a little bit boring right now. We're just clearing the jungle, keeping our farm up so we can stay relevant. More money equals more items, more damage. You guys all know this. We have our top side nice and reset, so we're going to clear that quickly. Just remember with your smite, I've done it a couple times this game, that you apply a burn on hit to enemy camp, so you can kind of like leave them alone and then they'll just die to the burn tick. In that case, they're the blue buff. I didn't quite have enough damage to survive the 1 health, which is unfortunate. But the the Jax is overextended, so we're going to go absolutely murder him. Chuck a ward down, and let's go in there and smash him. So we're going to go through what we're doing here. E first to get some grit. We probably could have autoed then E'd. We're waiting for his, whatever the hell that ability is called, to finish, and then we're going to Gale Force to keep on him, finish him off with the Q there. So you can see the Gale Force coming in handy there. We didn't get to use, or didn't need to use our ultimate, so if we didn't have the Gale Force, I just probably would have shot the ultimate and would have killed him anyway. But that's it, guys. Nice clean gank, killing the overextended jacks. And we can join our teams. Have a look in the enemy jungle to see if there's anything for me to take. Again, just like I say with when I'm playing top, if you get the opportunity to... We get spotted by ward there, which is unfortunate. But if you get the opportunity to go into the enemy jungle and take their resources, you should. Alright, so we're going to see here. The Alistair probably shit himself to see me coming into that bush. I throw one shot at him, and then I say, you know, I'm going to take his chickens. And we're going to get collapsed on by the Silas and the Alistair, which sucks. We're going to get... Oh, I think we're going to just die, and then our burns are going to kill him, I think, there. Yeah, so that's okay. Probably could have played that cleaner, but that's okay. If we had our smite up, we definitely would have been able to do it, because we can just smite him straight away, and then we take less damage from him. So a little bit of an unfortunate trade for us, one for one. But our team is cleaning up. They're going to be taking the tower. And I noticed that the dragon has spawned as well, so we're going to looking to go grab that. And we sell our potion to get the collector. So now we're 2 items plus our boots. This is when you start to feel strong when you're playing Graves, because of the crit and the lethality that you get from the collector feels really, really nice. But yeah, we're going to respawn here. We're going to head up in through the middle of the map. Our team's taken the middle inhibitor, so they're probably not going to be able to get too much more. So we're going to go straight to the dragon to give us our 3rd dragon. So we had pretty good dragon control this game. Not because I did anything special. I was there to collect them, but my team did a really good job of getting priority and making it easy for me to go and grab those. So that was excellent. So let's see if I can fail this E over the wall. No. So that's another thing with E. You can use it to get over terrain. I think I mentioned that earlier. We're just going to be auto-attacking this dragon down. Using our E when we can to reset our auto-attacks. And we're going to go see what we can do here. Timo's hiding in the bush. We're going to go in here. Okay, so we're going to use our auto attacks. So right now we use our ultimate in the choke point, which is really good. We're going to finish off the Alistair. We smited him, a bit of a waste, but that's okay. We're going to use our Gale Force to finish off the Kindred there. And the enemy team, I think they know that this is pretty much doomed. And that's going to be the end of the episode, guys. So basically, that's all you need to know with Graves. That's his abilities. That's his build. A very, very simple champion to understand. Just clear. Try to join your team when you need to. I probably cleared a little bit too much this game, but that's fine. Kept my CS nice and high, 154 at 22 minutes, which is actually pretty good. And I maintained control of the dragons fairly well. Got a few kills in there, died maybe one too many times. End score is 5, 3, and 9. Not too bad. But anyway, guys, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. And remember, at the end of the day, especially when you're playing Graves, it's nighttime. So take it easy.